Welcome to our next session of one of the webinar on driving continuous improvements using internal audits. So let's get started. About me, my name is Harmeet Dosanjh. I'm the Director of Operations for Food Safety Trainings right here at SES. I have more than 17 years of food manufacturing experience in food safety, regulatory, quality, product commercialization. I have masters in food safety from Michigan State. I did a certificate in international food law and regulations, and I am an approved lead trainer for BRCGS food and storage and distribution, SQF, PCQI, preventive control for human food, and of course a bunch of other topics such as HACCP and food fraud, and small little topics that we provide trainings on food safety. And I'm excited to discuss today also about SES Global Services. SES is an international leader in third-party food safety, environmental sustainability certification, as well as standards development. We do specialize in auditing, certification, verification, training, life cycle assessment, and strategic consulting. Our experienced trainers provide education and knowledge based on experience. All our trainers have credentials needed to provide each of the trainings presented in here, and training is delivered through different platforms. One is instructor-led training, online, which is our self-paced, and in classroom, which is again in private trainings. These are the services on the slide that we do: food safety training, we do consulting, and then we do the audits, which is BRCGS, Global Gap, HACCP, Primus, SQF, and GMP. Then we have food labeling, and of course, sustainable agriculture. Key discussion points. We will define internal audits, their purpose, type, and hopefully give you a clear understanding to why internal audits are so time consuming, and of course, are the most rewarding process within your business. We'll further look at this tool to drive continuous improvement and give you some tips for improving your internal audit program to achieve better results and meeting your food safety goals. Let's look into some history of internal audits. So the practice of internal audits dates back to early civilizations, but it was formally established by definition in 1938 with the foundation of Institute of Internal Audits. The recognition that business were growing in size, complexity of your structure and hierarchy, leaders were looking for improved governance, and appropriate controls were in place to ensure continued success and meeting strategic objectives. Internal audits have been commonly used in financial and economic system verification processes, but then later on, quality management system came in, GFSI benchmark schemes came in, which is BRCGS, SQF, SSSC, Primus, Global Gap, which did talk about internal audit as one of the primary requirements to be in compliance with your entire system. Internal audits in food industry. So the again concept bit goes back all the way since 1938. Typically, internal audits are performed by a multidisciplinary team within your company. So it's not just if you are a food safety manager or a QM manager, that is your job to do the entire food safety audits or internal audits. You have to have a team. Team is trained on how to conduct audits. Like I said, if you are already GFSI certified, which is SQF and BRCGS, you have probably already are aware that it is a requirement, mandatory requirement, and you have to have a team. Team doesn't mean you have to have 5 or 6 people. Even if you're a small organization or mid organization, you yourself or someone else can be part of as a internal audit team and can conduct the audits. Frequency, you conduct at a frequency based on your predetermined schedule. It could be based on risk. Okay. Goal is to identify conformance and non-conformance prior to second or third party audits. I'm pretty sure you all are aware. Second party audits would be supplier audit, and third party audit is your GFSI level, which is again SQF and or BRCGS. Goal is to identify the gaps within our system before the third party or second party brings those non-conformances, right? The idea is to look for the gaps and to improve our systems for continuous improvement. Identification of resolution and verification that non-conformities are addressed within agreed timeline. This is the area where I have been noticing for years now, where we all conduct internal audits and we forget to look into root cause analysis, we forget to look into corrective actions. There's really no agreed timeline, and what happened is that the non-conformances are still open for 60 days, 90 days, or maybe forever, and we really never take a look at it. And those open non-conformances could lead to, of course, as you all know, could lead to recalls, right? Record of proof that company's food safety system is operating as intended. As you all know, it's not about just paper, just to show auditors, just to show FDA inspector, but it is also proof that you are giving, meaning you're giving authority to your clients, to your customer, to your consumer, that food safety system are implemented and it's working and the food is safe. Purpose and importance. So beyond the, of course, definition and expected requirements of internal audit, what is it? What is the true purpose and why is it so important? While it's important because it provides your objective information and insight into effectiveness and compliance of your company policies, procedures, and overall food safety system. Framework to identify and address issues through corrective and preventive actions. And of course, our goal is to prevent reoccurrence. Support continuous improvements and growth of program, proof of compliance through audit reports, and establish monitoring and verification to activities to ensure product safety and legality. So for a program, it is very important. We tend to look at an activity or it's a chore and not the robust tool that could use to achieve success. We either rush to get them done, lack planning in advance. We just know, oh, we have to do the internal audits because audit is coming up. And really those activities really not helping you guys. You're just doing it just because you have to do it. But you have to think about that level of communication has to be there. You need to make sure that the type of audits you are performing, who is performing the audit, what are we performing audit on, when are we going to perform the audit, what records, what objective evidence we will be looking for. All those things comes in the internal audit. And the following discussion will hopefully provide you and your organization a fresh perspective on internal audits, and we look forward to hearing from you on how your program is being effective or not. So let's do a really quick poll, and you should see a poll right here. Please take a poll. It should pop on your screens. How effective is your internal audit program in identifying issues and driving the change? Okay, poll results are coming and it shows 48% says effective, it's working as intended, and we find issues, but we could use improvements. Rest of the other groups are saying 33%, which is somewhat effective. Challenges are in getting internal audits done, or we keep repeating the same audits. Okay, so that's a good thing. Meaning we should discuss all these your responses on that. You guys are very, you guys are accurate into some of you thinking that it's effective, it need improvement, and most of you are saying somewhat effective because it's difficult. We are doing the same thing over and over, and it's really not helping, right? It's not really helping in our continuous improvement. How to drive continuous improvement using the internal audits. We should discuss these all, because if you guys are saying there are challenges, and I've been in the industry myself, I have implemented internal audits. I myself have gone to the many scenarios where internal audits were not being effective. It was effective, but it could use improvement, but the team was already tired because it's an extra work for them, and the schedule was not being followed. Internal auditors were just doing it just for sake of doing it, and they were asking the same question over and over. And we were like, nah, the internal audits are really not being effective today. They are just doing it just because they have to do it, right? So how do you even motivate your team? That's another thing which gonna lead to our culture, food safety culture. So let's talk about traits of a successful internal auditor. First is prepared. Do the research, make sure you have all the materials that need to be reviewed. What questions are you going to be asking, okay, to your auditee? As you all know, if you're doing the auditors, you will be auditor, and the audit that you will be doing on someone is going to be auditee. If I am doing a sanitation audit, I better be prepared. What is my sanitation policies? What is SSOP means? How often they do sanitation, on what line, when are they doing it, what forms they fill. I should be familiar what are I'm trying to do audit on. Okay, who I should be asking what kind of questions. I cannot ask a question to a line operator about something which they or he or she may not have the answers. Maybe I have to go to supervisor, maybe I have to go to manager. So assess your audience, what kind of questions you will be asking, from who, what are the responses coming, and are we in compliance or not in compliance. That's the objective here. Okay, so make sure that you are prepared. Advanced communication, make sure you notify person is being audited in advance, and then make sure you align the day or the topic which is going to be covered. Now, when it comes to communication, I have two sides of it. If you guys are new to internal audits, right? If this is a new program that you've been implementing, it makes sense to let the managers know that, hey, we will be doing the audit on your section. I will be arriving to your, your area, whether it's a production floor or, in their, who you're going to be talking to, and then make them prepare. There's a second phase, which you already know. If you're BRCGS or SQF, you have every third year, it's going to be unannounced audit, right? So why don't we create a culture where we are really not announcing anymore, right? That will be the second phase, where you basically say, you know what, this is the audit schedule. I'm going to tell my co-worker, why don't you do the audit on XYZ department on what that day? Because you're testing your system, you're making sure that we are always ready for the third party audit. We're always ready, making sure that what our product we are making is safe, right? So that's the second phase of it. So if you guys are already have all the procedures ready, you have all the SOPs ready, forms ready, then I don't think that it's a really right thing to do, basically telling somebody and going out there. Start unannounced audit and test your system, check the gaps, look for continuous improvement right there from there. Listening skills, well, that is the most important thing here, because you need to take time for the auditee, right, to describe. They need to take time to describe what they are doing or explain the process. And of course, you have to listen to them too. Okay, don't cut them in between. Ask them. If they are not sure, rephrase your question. Remember, it all depends on what kind of audience you're going to be doing audits. If you're doing the floor level, at the floor, they may not have the same language, right? So make sure that you do rephrase your question. Okay, listen to them and see, you're assessing whether are we in compliance or not in compliance. Goal is not to make them nervous, that, oh, today I'm going to do the audit and I'm going to, no. Idea is not to make people nervous, your employees nervous, or your management. This idea is not to put everybody down here. The idea is that, look, I am right here doing the audit, and my whole objective is, are we in compliance or not in compliance? And that's it. Okay. Obtains objective evidence. Evidence means factual information. Okay. Facts, it could be SOP, record that show compliance, direct observations. Maybe I want to do a internal audit on metal detector. I will go on the floor. I'm going to observe. I'm going to ask operator some questions, right? What is the function of metal detector? What are our critical limits? What would you do if metal detector doesn't function? So, because you're checking the knowledge, you're testing the knowledge, right? What form the operator is filling, right? If the metal detector fail, what would you do? What is the consequence? If the operator answers, well, we're going to stop the line, I'm going to report to my supervisor, that's more than enough, right? But the response comes nothing, and we're going to keep running the metal detector as it is. Now we have issue, right? Especially if it is a CCP. As you all know, CCP is a critical control point in HACCP, right? So if your metal detector is a CCP, now we have a bigger gap. It could be training, it could be many things, that why operator or supervisors or the production floor not on the same page. Okay. Objective evidence is based on facts. It's not about I said, you said, she said. No. When you're right there on the floor, look for objective evidence. If you're interviewing your employees, make sure when you're writing the report, you don't mention the name of the operator. You just say an operator was observed, an operator was interviewed, right? We don't tend to put the name, because the idea is not that manager will go and then say, oh, why did you say something wrong? We are creating a positive culture in the company, and it's not about who said what and why he or she was wrong. It's about, okay, At this point, we are finding the gap. It could be training issue. It could be that they are busy, they are oversight, or they're not paying attention. All those things matters. So when you're writing objective evidences, make sure you're observing them. You're looking at facts. What SOP are they following? What form number? Form 001 dated March 25 was observed. That's your fact. Okay, that's your objective evidence. Make sure you're unbiased, meaning auditor doesn't let their personal feeling or judgment get in the way of obtaining objective evidence and outcome of your audit. Okay, trust in the listening, sharing details of the issue, and audit will be in fair in the assessment as well as your non-conformance. You should not be sharing with anyone else. So let's take another example. If I did an audit on sanitation department and I'm in a food safety manager, let's say QA manager, I should not be discussing their non-conformances to maintenance now or someone else now. No, because that's not right. You have to maintain confidentiality, right? It's not about showing departments are horrible here. XYZ is not working here. They are not paying attention. That is not the intention here. Remember that. We get those emotions. We are human beings. We go through these judgments, feelings, and we basically really not paying attention what was the objective here, and we get into something which was not necessary, right? So make sure you do maintain confidentiality. Don't think this is my time to take a revenge, that oh, maintenance was in my area and they asked me and now it's my time to take revenge. It is not about taking revenge on each other. Again, it's a teamwork that you have to motivate each other and help each other to get to that, to that point where you guys want to be, which is always try to be in compliance, right? Making sure food is safe, food is secure, highest quality, right? So please do pay attention. Achieve alignment. Okay, achieving alignment doesn't mean that person being audited perhaps is always happy with the non-conformances found, but is understanding that the information is being presented will be communicated to your lead auditor for follow-up or conflict resolution. I have been in a situation where I was the lead auditor and I had team who was doing the audits, and there was a lot of conflicts was coming because one person taking it really personal. Auditor was asking the question, auditor got offended, and he thinks that why she's asking me this question, and I'm like, read the clause or read your standard, right? Read the code. What is the code is asking? This is what was the requirement. Did you meet the requirement, right? Because again, people, human being, we get defensive. We feel like, why you are asking me this question? Am I doing something wrong? I'm like, it's not about you are doing something wrong. It's about, are we in compliance with the clause I'm auditing or not? So you got to take this these feelings away in a way and you need to just go with the mindset that I am just doing the audit to check compliance, and that's it. Okay, do not wait too long for after the audit to finish the report. Okay, memories can fade and non-conformances identified will need to be addressed. Okay, and this is a very, very common non-conformances actually facilities get in their BRC, GS audit or SQF audit or whatever GFSI level audits you have, because oops, we forgot to check the corrective action. It's been open for XYZ days, and now when your actual auditor is looking at those things, now he's going to raise a non-conformance. Why this is open for so many days? Is that a legit reason? Well, we got busy, we don't have time, we don't have manpower, we'll do it in a slow season. Those are all excuses. Okay, that is not going to fly with the auditor really well. So I would suggest you, if you guys are doing the audits, make sure you come up with a proper timeline. When are we going to close? Go back, verify, assess, and then sign off on the reports. Okay, and then only your report or the audit will be closed. Types of internal audit. Internal audits require company to challenge themselves, and of course we need to put stress importance of reassessing what we believe is working and where the deficiencies might exist. So internal audits are not all the same, right? The type of audit will vary depend on the scope and objective. A system audit covers the entire food safety system. Okay, and some companies hire a consultant also to conduct a full system audit within 2 to 3 days or they might have internal audit team, which they're going to break it over a year, okay, and ensure full system is covered. We do have a client here in California, and what they do, they call every year and they ask us to do the internal audits on their system. Okay, not that they don't their internal audit, but they want to make sure we are in compliance, so they always request that to us to go on site and perform the internal audit for them. Okay, so that's an option for you. When I was working in the manufacturing, I was working for fairly medium company, not many people I had to do the internal audit, meaning nobody was able to challenge my HACCP. That was my biggest issue, because none of them really had a really good understanding where they can challenge my HACCP. So what I did, I hired a consultant and I asked this consultant to come on site and only do my section 2, which was back then I was working with the BRCGS, and I said, could you please come and do a service to us and only perform the audit on section 2, which is HACCP. So I did that because I knew I can say whatever I want, and whoever is going to be auditing, they're going to take my answer, right? So I said, that's not the right way to do it. I really want somebody to challenge my studies. I really want somebody to really ask, how did you came to the conclusion? Why is it a CCP? Why it's not a CCP? Okay. So I did that. So that is an option. Process audit will be focused on a specific procedure or area of your program. For example, you might do receiving program, shipping program, right? You might do management commitment, are being followed in accordance with your plan. Okay. You might do sanitation, you might do shipping, maintenance audit. So you can break it down into smaller section. I want to talk about also, many companies do this a mistake. They take entire sections, entire clause or the code to do the audit in 1 day or 2 days. I would rather break it into smaller sections and maybe do it, if you, again, frequency depends on you. You guys gonna do it every quarter, every month, every 6 months. I used to do 3 audits in a month, but my audits were smaller, effective, quick. Okay, so you can do chemical audit in sanitation, you can do chemical audit in maintenance, you can do a sharp knife audit, simple, easy, right? So you can break it down into smaller chunks by topic, and you can do that as well, rather than taking the entire sections and just sitting there in the conference room for hours and hours. Okay. Product audit. Product audit is an evaluation of your compliance to specifications through verifying your records as finished product testing, disposition of your issues. So you can do that. And inspection. Inspection is typically in a checklist format. You already have a preset questions, direct observations of compliance of your facility. For example, GMP audits. I'm pretty sure you do the GMP audits at least once a month, right? You go out there. Now, GMP audits can be performed by the QA. But remember, if you are a food safety manager, food safety supervisor, whatever the title is, you're not really supposed to do your own HACCP audit, because you're going to be biased. You might say everything's fine in my department, and you may oversight, you may not see the challenges you have in your department. Okay, that's why we say auditors should be independent of the function. And the meaning for that is that sanitation should not do their sanitation audit, right? Maintenance should not conduct their own audit. Production should not be conducting their own audits. Okay. So when you're doing the GMP factory, GMP inspections, inspection is slightly different from the audit. Okay. Inspections, you're going out there, you're looking at physical aspects of your buildings, you're looking at how many people are, following PPE, washing hands, and so forth, right? So you're doing the inspections, you follow the checklist, and you basically figure out the time scope of the audit and what skills do you need for that inspection. And you got to think about what skills do we need for audit team. Who should be doing these audits? Do you just feel like just send anybody and just do the audits, or do you think that we have to do the proper training? We need to teach them how to look for objective evidence, how to write the report, who to ask the right question, what kind of question, is it open question, is it close-ended questions? Okay, use different types of internal audit. Okay, it's up to you, but again, make sure you don't repeat the same audit every year or same type of audits, because you need to challenge your system. And in order to challenge your system, you got to think about how to be creative. Okay, how to do things differently. So I'll give you an example on this also. In the beginning, when we were really implementing BRCGS in our facility, in the beginning, I will tell that, oh, for example, Shama will do audit on Knoll, Noel will do audit on Dominic. This is the topic, this is the clause number, and this is, you know, your month. So I never really tell them the date. As long as you finish the audit in month of, you know, in the month of March, I'm fine. Okay. Then the auditee and auditor will talk what is the right time, when they're going to meet. Okay. And then they're going to begin the audit. They're going to start the audit by talking. Now, first few questions are very similar. I'll tell you how. Do you have the procedure? Yes. Do you have the policy? Yes. Do you have a training records of your employees? Yes. Okay, get it. I got it, because this is our first time audit. We want to make sure writing of our procedures and everything has been implemented, right? Like our prereqs are implemented. Okay. Now the second phase come. Why am I asking Dominic the same question? The fact that you already know the SOP exists, procedure exists, training records exist. Why am I wasting time for his time and my time asking the same question? Does that make sense? Now my second phase is gonna be, I'm gonna basically not gonna talk to Dominic, but I'm gonna go to his employee on the floor now. Okay, and then start the audit from there, because there's no point asking the same question. Okay, that's how you're going to challenge your internal audit. Is it really working for us? Okay, so make sure and programs are properly challenged. Make sure auditor fatigue does not occur. Style and format. Okay, deeper dive into internal audits may be required to understand non-conformances, capture missing element. If in your team somebody doesn't have a really good understanding or deeper level of understanding of HACCP, please do not assign that person to do HACCP audit. Okay. Now a lot of people ask, well, I never work in the maintenance department, how can I do maintenance audit? And I'm like, you can do maintenance audit. Read the procedures, read their maintenance protocols, work orders, right? Go out on the floor, observe them before you do the audit. Learn what are they really doing, you know, and make your own questions. Make sure that you're reading your clause or the code. Make sure you are asking the right question within that criteria, and go and do the audit. Observations, interview, whatever records you want to see, and you'll be fine. Okay. Same area could be audited with a review of your SOP, direct observation, interviews, and follow the audit trail. Pick a product on multiple dates and evaluate all the records to verify compliance. Do not rush all these things. Oh, it looks good. Okay, I'm good to go. Okay. So please pay attention, give it some time, make sure that you are well prepared before you start doing the audit, and make sure that you are well aware who to ask, because this is another issue that we have been seeing all over these years, that they are asking the wrong question to the wrong audience, and then there is a non-conformance that operator didn't know, and I'm like, this is not an operator level question, that should be supervisor manager level question. Okay, so please make sure that when you go on the floor, ask them, hey, how are you, how's everything going? I'm just here to do my routine check. Is that okay if I ask you a few questions? Put them at ease. Okay, make sure your body language, your tone of your voice is nice. Okay, it's not about threatening the employees, it's about making sure that they are understanding the purpose of the audit. And when you come to the actual audit, meaning third party audit, second party audit, they are really comfortable talking about it. Okay, because remember, we are creating a culture of food safety where employees are, we are empowering them to make decisions, we are empowering them to explain. You don't have to have always supervisor managers to talk, but let employees handle that. Okay. Root cause analysis. I'm pretty sure that you all know what is root cause analysis. When you take the corrective actions, you find the root cause. This is another area many companies are struggling. Only management knows how to do root cause, and not everybody knows how to take root cause. And some funny root causes come, and the most common root cause come is training was not enough, lack of training. And sometimes I just laugh, like, interesting, 3 months ago you did the audit and you had this non-conformance on the root cause was training was not enough, yet 3 months later is the same thing. That happened to me, where I did an audit in maintenance department and I gave a non-conformance, and the root cause came out to be training was not enough. So I accepted that root cause. 3 months later, same question, same people, same response, same corrective action came to me with the same root cause, and I rejected this time, and I said, no, Training could be one of the factors. This is not the right root cause. You cannot blame all the time. Training, retrain, retraining, retrain, and that's it. Okay, so please use a systematic problem solving process that you can use 5 whys, fishbone, Pareto charts. There are many ways to identify the actual root cause of the non-conformity and make sure it is an integral part of your continuous improvement efforts. Okay, the 5 whys does work, but sometimes if it is really big issue, like a bigger problem, you may need fishbone, because fishbone will tackle multiple things, as you all probably know. Goal is to obtain corrective action, preventive action to ensure non-conformance is resolved, reduces reoccurrences. This may take additional time, resources, okay? And not every non-conformance may require this level of analysis. Document the root cause, make sure your action is being taken. Go back, verify, make sure that the timeline is being effective. You go back, make sure non-conformance is being resolved and close it. Most of the time, like I said, we forget the timeline. We never really ask, so how many days do you need? If you find a small non-conformance, that SOP was the issue, it doesn't need months and months and months. You may give a week. Okay, so as an auditor, it's your job to agree to the non-conformance timeline and make sure it is effective and it's going to make sense, and you should be. It's your job to go back and set up a meeting and say, hey, let's meet next Monday, let's review your corrective action. Okay, otherwise everybody's busy. We all know production is always busy. Everybody's busy, they don't have time, and this is an additional work for them. Okay, I'll give you another really quick story. When I was doing the internal audit, we decided to do audits every month, and my boss said not to do audits from August to January because we are in a busy season. And I said, interesting. So what makes you think how do I prove to my auditor, well, we are in compliance, however we are busy, we don't have time, so we don't have to do the audits from August to December, but we will start doing the audits in January? Does this make sense at all? What makes him think that everything's fine during the busy season? I hope it makes sense to you guys. So this is an excuse. We are busy, we don't have manpower, this is an extra work for us, and this is our busy season, all hands on deck right now. And I'm like, okay, that's fine with me. Could you please write on a piece of paper so at least I can show my auditor we are busy and we don't have time? And then tables turns, no, how you want? I said, look, I understand we are all busy, but why don't we take smaller audits, quick effective audits? We don't have to do hours and hours and hours sitting in the conference room. Okay, tracking, trending, and driving progress. So evaluate your data, communicate status of your internal audits. Make sure that senior management is aware. And I'm pretty sure your meeting with the senior management could be weekly, could be monthly. Make sure you talk about how many audits are being conducted last month, how many non-conformances are still open. Okay, so that if management decide that they have to intervene, maybe one department is struggling than the other, then they can provide the right resources. Okay, please make sure you do address to your senior management. Number of compliance versus non-compliance, ranking of severity of non-conformance, which is critical, major, minor. I'm pretty sure most of you are already doing this. I have different mindset on that, because when I was working with just like you, the minute I would say minor, people will not just pay attention. Oh, it's minor, it's not a big deal. And it'll be open for 60 days, 90 days, sometimes 6 months. And I'm like, this strategy is not working. So I had to go back and I said, look, non-conformance is a non-conformance. When it comes to corrective action timeline, we will assess depending on our risk. However, I am not writing critical, major, or minor. Okay, but again, if it is working for you, critical, major, minor, you want to rank them as it is, there's nothing wrong with it. If it is working, why not? Okay, but it didn't work for me, so I had to take this out, because it's just again that mindset that we had, the culture that we had back then, that it's a minor, we'll address it when we have time. Okay, and it wasn't really working out for us. Make sure you do track open and close non-conformances, like I said, because your actual third-party auditors will ask you. They might say, hey, David, let me see your audit you conducted in January, right? Okay, I see you gave 2 non-conformances. Let me see the root cause. Is it being closed? And oops, we forgot. We didn't track. We didn't know how many open, how many closed. So now you will get a non-conformance against that because the fact that you did not track, you did not close your non-conformance on a time in a appropriate timeline. Okay. Address your issues with the thorough root cause analysis. We just talked about that. And evaluate your larger potential, larger trends. Is it inadequate training? Is it the culture is the issue? Why are we receiving so many non-conformances? Is it documentation? Is it form issue? Is it lack of understanding from the employee side? And I can tell you based on my experience that majority of the employees have no idea why are they filling the form. Managers, supervisors, they just give the form, they just write down and they just leave. They have absolutely any idea why they are filling the form, what are the consequences. Okay, and I hope it's not the same in case in your guys is. Please do spend some time on the floor and explain your operators, your people who are working on the floor, right, in their production, maintenance, sanitation, shipping, receiving, every across from shipping, receiving, all the way to the shipping. Make sure employees have good understanding. What is the purpose of the form? What are we filling here? And if something is wrong, they can raise their concern right away. Okay, so look into that. Look into larger trends also. What is driving? Is it inadequate training? This sentence makes me laugh sometimes. We do annual training, and I'm like, that's nice. Do you remember what did you had on 4th July or last Christmas for dinner or lunch? How do you expect somebody to remember something that you did a year ago, right? So that's not enough. Okay, we are all human beings, we need to be reminded often. So please pay attention. Make sure that you are maybe every topic every month or quarterly, just make sure you remind employees. Okay, so for the internal audits, food safety culture, you have commitment policy. For non-conformance, does not identify measurements on how success will be measured. You need resources, make sure management is providing that, make sure food safety culture is being there, you're identifying the plans for improvement. And of course, timeline started could be open, it could be end of Q2, however you guys want to do that. Tips to improve your internal audit program, achieving your goals. Make sure you have in your team lead internal auditor. Okay, to have a robust internal auditor program, make sure that it does not only require a team, but you have to have a lead auditor that will be responsible for developing a schedule. First of all, you got to start with developing your SOP or procedure. Okay, what is internal audit program look like? Then you're going to talk about in that program schedule, frequency, who will be doing the audit, when they will be doing the audit, what forms to be filled, how to address the non-conformances. Okay, ensure schedule is being followed. This is a very another common non-conformances that facilities receive in their BRC audit, SQF or third-party audit. They deviated their own schedule. They were supposed to do the audit in month of March, and oops, we forgot. They deviated from their own schedule. So please make sure that lead auditor, internal auditor, that's their role and responsibilities to make sure internal audits are happening on the time. Like I said, you don't have to put the date because sometimes things happen. It's easier to say in the month of March or April or May or every quarter, however you guys are doing it, we're gonna do it on that, okay, meaning on that timeline. Review your submitted reports, follow up with your auditing and non-conformance, make sure verifications are done, corrective actions are being closed, and you need to communicate to the team on the leadership. Please do not communicate, oh my God, that department is horrible. That is not what we want. It's not about breaking the team, but building the team, working together. Okay. When I was in this role, the auditee and auditor will do the audit. The audit report will come to my desk. I will review it and I will challenge them. What was the question? What was the corrective action? And then once I know audit is closed, then I will do the final sign. Okay. So internal auditor does lead the team, doesn't conduct all the audits. Like I said, please do not think that, oh, I have a title of QA manager, food safety manager, it is my responsibility. No, it is not your responsibility to do all the audits. Okay. Expand your team, make sure you have team. When I was working in Wonderful, for example, Wonderful Pistachios, Wonderful Almonds years ago, I was dedicated employee and my job was just to do the audit because it's a big corporation, big company, they have resources. When I worked for a different company, we didn't have that many resources, right? So what I did, I had production manager, sanitation manager, receiving manager, shipping manager. I had managers and I had trained them so we can do cross-functional audits. Okay, if that makes sense. So you don't have to have this take the burden on your own. You have to build the team, make sure they have the right skills, they have specific knowledge, they know how to write the reports, they know how to write conduct the audits on the floor, and make sure that they are doing the audits right the way you want. Okay, and you can create your team that way also. So it's not that, oh my god, I don't have enough people, what do I do? Again, if you're a small company, medium company, medium sized company, you may not have many employees like that. At least it's you, or maybe it could be plant manager, it could be production manager. You guys can do cross-functional audits. Just make sure you don't conduct your own audits, meaning in your own area. Internal audit schedule do, make sure you do plan ahead, meet your food safety requirements, train your team, communicate, check back frequently. Okay, make sure you are committed. All the GFSI standard requires you to have check entire food safety system to do internally. Please don't forget to use checklist, or you guys can create your own questions if you like. Don't. Internal audit does require a lot of time, does attention. So make sure you do not forget. Plan as you do, as you go. Assume that everyone can audit. No, that's not the right way to look at it. Not everybody can do the audit. Okay. Don't wait until the end, have surprise internal audits, because again, if the culture is not there, surprise audit may not work for you. Define and clear scope. Make sure you ask open-ended question. Open-ended question could be, could you please explain how a metal detector function? Okay, that's an open-ended, meaning you're telling the operator to explain you more in detail. Or if you're asking, do you have a procedure? Answer is yes. That doesn't tell you much, right? Yes or no question sometimes makes sense, but not every time yes and no question doesn't really give you the answers, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so make sure that you know what kind of questions. Make sure you have checklist. You can make your questions in advance. Make sure you understand this audit might take 30 minutes, that audit might take hour maybe. Okay, and like I said, break into smaller parts. Quick and effective audit is better than sitting there for hours and hours and you're not really getting anywhere. Okay, measure and celebrate success. Communication of internal audit findings, success, again, within the team or a company is an important part. Make sure that your team members are aware. Many challenges that we all have, that we don't have buy-in from the management, we don't have buy-in from our other departments, they don't understand the importance, we are having trouble. But again, this way, if you do cross-functional audits, if you assign them the sections, you will see they will be coming back, coming to have the same goal to achieve. And senior management has to take this serious. This will help you, again, complete internal audits on time, improve your third-party results, reducing non-conforming events, because remember, non-conformances could lead to recall, somebody getting sick, right? So we want to avoid that. Improve the awareness of your purpose, importance, and of course promotes food safety culture, and it supports continuous improvement initiatives. Let's take another poll just to see. Okay, does your team needs in-depth training on internal audits? All right, majority said yes. And if you do need in-depth trainings for internal audit, please visit our website. We do have internal audit trainings, which we talk about how to write reports, what are the skills you needed. We talk about, if you're looking for BRC internal audit, we do have, or otherwise we do have our basic 6-hour internal audit course, which we talk about BRC, GS, journal, and SQF and other requirements. And basically idea is to help the companies to create this food safety internal audit program and basically manage their internal audit programs effectively and make sure they are they are the paths to success. Again, remember, idea is not to pass your third-party audit. Idea is to make sure that we are in compliance all the time. Okay, that's the whole agenda here. Agenda is not to put someone down, our team member down. Agenda, the idea behind is we are in compliance and we're going to help look for improvements, and we're going to use these team members to help each other. Okay, this is our 2024 training schedule out now. If you guys want to scan it or you want to visit our website, please feel free to do, and then you guys can sign up, or you guys can email us as well, and we can work out with your internal audit program training, for private training for your own group, or you guys can attend our public class as well. And SES consulting services, again, we do provide consulting. If you guys need any gap assessments, if you need any help with your HACCP, any programs built, non-GMO, responsible sourcing, ESG reporting, CDP consulting, and carbon footprint, these are under SES consulting services. So with that said, I am done. Let's look into some question Q&A and see how can I help you guys with your questions. Hello, will you be sharing an electronic copy of this presentation with the attendees? Yes, we will be. Shama, we will email you guys the recording of this webinar. When can you close an internal audit after preventive action is done for verification? Luis, once you have verified your corrective action, preventive action, typically what I do, I leave it for at least 1 month or 2 months to see if it is really working. What happens sometimes that we are in so hurry, oh, it's been done, and we sign off. But what I do, I will give myself 2 to 3 months, okay, see if it's really working out, it's not a reoccurring problem, and then I can sign off. So it's up to you how you feel depending on the situation. Do improvement score helps? Improvement score help? I'm not sure, Luis. You mean third-party audits or internal audits? When it comes to internal audit, it does help. I'm going to give an example. When I was doing when we implemented internal audit program in this company I was working for, we gave 22 non-conformances to maintenance department, which we knew because we don't have procedure, we don't have work order. Maintenance department doesn't like to put anything on paper. They don't think it's important, as we all know. Not that we are blaming them, it's just that they are hands-on people. They go out there, they fix the machines, they fix everything, and they don't feel like we have to record anything right on the form. So it took us a while to get to that point where, look guys, we understand, but we have to prove it one way or another. So when 3 months later, when we did the audit, from 22 non-conformances we jumped to 10 non-conformances. So that was a way of showing our improvement, if that makes sense. That's how we did in sanitation and other departments also, to show this is where we started, this is where we at right now, and that is our showing that we are making improvements. Would you please advise about the protocol you use for carbon footprint? Shama will give you more information on the carbon footprint. That is not under in my division, which is mine is food safety. But we will definitely, Shama is taking a note on that, so she will provide you more into that. Any other questions? And again, please, most common non-conformances that the facilities receive is their internal audit program was not effectively implemented, their corrective actions were not closed on time, and guess what? Team members were not trained properly on internal audits. Those are the very common findings that you may see in your actual audit, meaning third-party audits. All right, any other questions before? All right, then I'm just gonna say last thing. Can you elaborate on assess of non-conformance on timing based on non-conformance? Luis, I didn't get that question. On assess of non-conformance on timing. Are you talking about that if you saying that, oh, we're gonna be closing in 30 days? If that's the case, meaning timing. So if I'm your auditor, Luis, and I'm saying, you know what, Luis, what is the right appropriate timeline to close this corrective action? As an auditor, it is my job, okay, to get both of our parties to come to that point, like, you know what, yes, we're going to close in 30 days. As an auditor, my job is to sit with you and say, Luis, 30 days are almost done. Okay, let's schedule a meeting and let me review your corrective action. Let me see your non-conformances, right? That's how you're going to do it. If Luis say, well, give me 2 months. Why do you need 2 months for? It could be your non-conformance is critical. If it's non-conformance is critical, meaning do it now. You need to stop what you're doing and you need to address to senior management, because it could lead to a food safety failure where it could, lead to somebody getting sick or maybe potential recall, right? That is why you have to assess your situation, assess your non-conformance. Is it critical, major, minor? Okay, what is the appropriate timeline? Like I said, training was not conducted. Okay, I'll give you 1 week, I can give you 2 weeks, not a big deal. SOP was not enough, was not clear. Okay, I'll give you 1 week. That makes sense, right? Or I can give you 2, whatever for that. So it's all about, as an auditor, because your auditee, Luis, you might say, well, I need 3 months. No, 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 no. 3 months is not appropriate, if that makes sense. So you need to negotiate, but I can bet you your the auditee might take advantage. Oh, I'm busy right now, production is so busy right now, I don't have time for this, right? And if that's what you're getting, then you need to address it to senior management. Okay, how can we check the training record if we don't write the person's name that we interviewed? It's not about checking the training record, the person we interviewed, Marina. The way it works, that you're looking at the training records for all the employees in general. Like, okay, if training was conducted on these people, the reason we don't put the name, because we don't want manager to go back and yell at them and say, hey, why did you say this? Or I just gave you training last week. Okay, it doesn't work like that, because you are also hurting your culture. Next time I am doing the audit, Marina, you might run to the restroom because you think that, oh, I'm going to be in trouble if I say something, right? So when we are doing if Marina, if I say I was on the floor and I saw there's a non-conformance, Marina, you need to address that non-conformance with your team and not take me to the side and yell at me, if that makes sense to you, right? This is the reason we don't put the name of the person on the report itself, because it's not about singling out one person who said wrong and who said right. It's about, are we in compliance with the department? Okay, obviously in some of the scenarios there's only one operator, so we all know, but I'm going to write in a report, an operator was observed, right? And if there's a non-conformance, then that is how that area supervisor management has to address it as a group. Okay, this is a non-conformance, I'm going to work like that. Okay, can you provide an example of tracking and trending the internal audit performance progress, please? Stacy, you can use any maybe Excel sheet if you like. Okay, you can write a full schedule, January, February, all the way to December. Red color could be open non-conformances, green could be is done. It's up to you how you want to do that. It's really simple to use an Excel sheet and kind of like manage it from there. Do we need to score internal audit to major, minor? Paris, you don't have to. You can write a non-conformance is good enough. However, remember the timeline for the corrective action you need to justify. Okay, like I gave you another example. The reason I didn't put minor, major, critical, because our team was like, it's minor, don't worry about it. That was, and I'm like, no, 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 this is not helping. So we said, you know what? Nope, we're gonna take non-conformance as it is. Let's talk about what is with the right timeline. Okay. Can you please provide example of objective evidence team can provide to close out? Ariana, the example of objective evidence could be form, SOP that you reviewed, okay, area that you conducted an audit on, that is an objective evidence. When I interviewed Ariana, could you please explain? So I'm going to write in my report, operator was observed, operator was interviewed, seem to be have good understanding. Okay, that is your facts. When you say SOP 123 version 1 was reviewed, form number XYZ dated February 24 was observed, that is your fact. And why is it a fact or is it objective evidence? Because Ariana, if your actual third party auditor comes on site, he might ask you, bring me this SOP, bring me that form number, and that is your fact that you're bringing back. It's not about, oh, I think they have the SOP. Okay, you think or you know, right? Are you really making up? Oh, I know, Jorge knows everything, and oh, no, yeah, they have everything. That's not facts. That's just you assuming. Remember, in the internal audit, the word assumption shouldn't be in your dictionary. You never ever assume anything. Okay, you always go by what is your fact, what did you see in there, and what you observed. That's what you're going to write. You're not going to assume, oh, I'm friends with Ariana, I know she got it. That's not fair, or that's not enough. How many times can you have the same non-conformance? Jorge, if it is the first time, it's okay. You're getting same non-conformance maybe twice. It's okay, because you maybe still building the program, you're still working with your team. But if it is a well-established program and you're getting the same non-conformance again, and I would say second time or even third time, I would say even second time, why is it the same non-conformance? What is lacking here? Is it lack of resource? Is it lack of understanding? Is employee not paying attention for any reason? Is management not paying attention? That is why you have to find the root cause, because clearly first time when the non-conformance came, your corrective action did not work, meaning your root cause did not work. It could be that you need to revisit the same root cause. There's nothing wrong with it, you know. But if it comes third time, fourth time, now you have a deeper issues. You guys have to sit with the team and see, hey guys, what's going on here? Is it a culture issue? Employees are not motivated enough. Management could be an issue, right? So you guys have to take a look at from all the sides and see why are we getting these issues. Okay. All right. With that said, I think I pretty much answered all the questions. Again, if you guys want deeper trainings or full, please feel free to visit our website. We can do on-site training, we can do public training through Zoom. You guys can take our public classes, and we have self-paced training also, internal audit. So if you guys like to take on your own time, please visit our website and you will see there. So with that said, thank you for taking the webinar with me. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned a lot. If you do have any questions, feel free to email us. Like I said, Shama, we will be emailing you this recording tomorrow. We have you guys can contact our SS representative. Parandat is our director of sales and NAS. And if you guys please stay here for a little bit, we have post webinar survey. If you guys can take the survey, that will be great for us. That way we know if you enjoyed. Are you looking for more topics? We will be more than happy to come up with the more topics on these, food safety, and will help you guys. So thank you again and have a great rest of the day.